Good morning. It is Friday morning, May 15th. And while all the craziness in the world is still going on, and I will tell you as I'm driving by, I'm in Mount Juliet headed downtown to work, we are still recovering. The area is recovering from the tornado that was the weekend before the Arnold. So right at the end of February, 1st of March. They're still tearing down houses that were completely destroyed. They've started rebuilding the school that you've heard me talk about, that if you watched the news and saw it, they're still demolishing that, and that is slowly but surely getting taken out. Of course, the pandemic is, really slowed some things down. Apparently not at Lowe's or Walmart or the grocery stores, but in Tennessee, again, if you follow the news, you're seeing a lot of areas that are opening up. I think Davidson County, which is Nashville, is considered in their phase one, and as long as there's not a crazy uptick, I guess they'll go to phase two. I think phase four is for Davidson County, is when a lot of gyms can reopen, and places like where I work that are entertainment venues. Now, how all that's going to work, I don't know, and I'm not even going to get into that. That's not what this is all about, but I'm just kind of giving you an idea, of what's going on in the area. And 2 weeks ago, we had the derecha come through, and so as I was leaving my little subdivision, basically there's one way in and one way out. It's an inner circle with an outer circle, and that's the subdivision. And the amount of trees, while we didn't lose any trees, it completely broke a 4x4 fence post, and 3 of my panels came down. And the guy that lives above me has some Leland cypress. It pulled one of those trees, probably 20-foot tree, pulled it right out of the ground. So you're seeing a lot of roofs right now getting new shingles in my area. So the last 2.5 months have been for the entire area, Nashville included, and I know outlying areas took a hit too, but what I'm familiar with Nashville and the Mount Juliet area, which is basically Davidson and Wilson County, have really taken a beating this year. And we've had so much rain, and I have a feeling, just like it does a lot of times in Middle Tennessee, we're going to have this mild spring, and boom, it's going to be 90 degrees. And that's one of the reasons why we've been so hard and heavy on the addition, to try to get the electricians out there so I can get the HVAC system hooked up in there, because it was kind of warm in there this morning. I did have a fan running. So anyway, after all that just kind of gives you an idea of what's going on. Yesterday, there was a post on A-Team Athletics. Man, I keep saying that. I think I'm saying it wrong. I need to look at that and correct it. Anyway, there was a post at some point that we had talked about, and I made a vlog about, and then Mel yesterday was talking about, people during this quarantine, and where, safer at home orders, and, gyms are closed, how are people's motivation? I know, like for Jennifer Milliken, her schedule changed because the schools are closed, and so her kids are home, and you're doing all this at-home schooling and stuff like that. So she had to train at home, and she was training in the evenings, which is quite a departure from early morning training that she was doing at the gym. And it gets tougher. There's challenges with that. I wouldn't necessarily say it's tougher. I would say it's different. And what we have found out, what we've talked about, and Jennifer has written about in blogs, is motivation is never going to be the end-all be-all. It's not the beginning, and it's not the finish. It is your level of commitment. And so what I wanted to do is talk about that, and maybe add a few things that might spark some discussion. One of the things that we've talked about in my gym, I have got a group of athletes, male and female, and they were training for Beast of the Bluegrass that a buddy of mine, Davey McCann, runs every year. It's become one of the premier events in the Southeast, and it's an Arnold qualifier, and you see pros there, and I have Melissa's competed in it, and I have had other people from the gym compete in it. We have judged it, and we always try to support Davey. He's a really good guy, great contest promoter, and we've trained with that crew and all that, and they're just, not only are they genuinely great people, we just always have a good time with them. And they were supposed to do that contest, I want to say roughly the second weekend of May, and man, obviously that got moved. The contest has been moved to mid-July, I believe it is. So a contest that they had been training for since they did their last contest, it was early January, and we have not changed anything. We have fluctuated a few things. We have varied the intensities, but they stayed the course on their training. We didn't go, well, since it's not happening in May, because the decision wasn't made until, Davey absolutely had to. And now we've added, 2 months of training, about 9 weeks of training to what has already been a long prep cycle. And to the guys' credit, their commitment to their craft. Now think about that. It's not, because a contest is a contest. These guys are training, they want to get stronger, they want to get better, they want to get faster, they want to get more athletic. So we looked at what we needed to do when we ended up having this extended period of time. I backed off of, like, they have a deadlift medley, and I'm like, we're not, for the next 6 weeks, we're going to deadlift, but we're not going to do the deadlift medley just yet. We're going to save our bodies, and we're going to get stronger, and we're going to work on form. And we're going to work on speed. I had them start doing power cleans, not to turn them into Olympic lifters, but to work on athleticism, to work on speed, to think about positioning under the duress of being fast, and those types of things. And again, it's kind of a departure, but we did extra grip work. And again, we had the opportunity to do that work, but we were still doing the event training. We were focusing on pressing power. We were doing extra log work, because there's a log event in this, but working on things that weren't only going to help us for this contest, but to help us going forward. And the thing I commended them on is not, getting stronger. Not that they go, what if somebody wins? It's, I'm not near as concerned about the result, as long as they get there and they're able to run through the finish line, as their level of commitment to their craft, to the gym, and to each other. And I think that's something that's going to serve them a lot more and a lot longer, and the dividends of that are going to show up as time goes by, and not only in their craft as far as the sport is concerned, but in their everyday life, because the discipline and commitment that it is required to do those things. Because think about this: a lot of times we make all these plans. Ben, for example, Ben was supposed to do the contest, and then it's like this past weekend or this weekend, they were supposed to be in Germany and visiting over there, and visiting a Team Ogre member. All of a sudden, my mind, Larson, Mr. Larson, he is stationed, or he's taken a job. It's a military job, but he's taken a job in Germany, and they were going to visit with him. And it's one of those things. You face the disappointment. First, you got the stress of this pandemic and how it's changed everything. Many people have lost. We've got people in the gym. They've lost their job. I'm going to be furloughed end of June, and there's a lot of businesses that are currently closed. And the concern is, are they going to be able to open up? I'm worried about that about my company. Are we going to get into phase 4? Are we even going to be able to open? Would it be worth opening? You're seeing restaurants downtown, they're opening, but there's not a lot of business. Are people going to be willing to get out? We still have people that are allowed to come to our gym, but they're still staying away. And I certainly respect that. So you face those things, which is enough stress, and the disappointment of your contest either being rescheduled or canceled. And I mean, they've rescheduled the Olympics, they've rescheduled World Games, they canceled Wimbledon. So these are it's not just our little area and our little group. This is a global thing. And there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. I don't know what's true, what's not true. But what I can tell you is that this isn't going to be where we just flip a switch on and everything is back to where it was. So, and I'm going to not use stuff like new normal. It may be new, but it's far from normal. So, I'm going to stay away from that. But my point is that throughout all that they have dealt with the disappointment and the frustration, the anxiety of, we've had one of them lose their job, and going through all the ordeal of getting unemployment. And then we've had some of them that have not slowed down a bit. Mine and Melissa's routine, for the most part, has stayed pretty much intact. We get up, we go downstairs and train, we both go to work, and to some degree or the other, we come home, there's Jim and the dogs, and rinse and repeat. And so but the stressors are definitely there because we're out of our routine. Like I said, Melissa and I, we haven't been to a meet since the second weekend of March, and that is we consider it a slow month if we only go to one meet in a month, and we're not home that often. So that's what the discipline of going, I know I'm disappointed, but if I want to do this, if I want to get good, if I want to have a shot at winning, if I want an opportunity to get better and to hone my craft, these are the things that we have to do. And it's not whether we win or lose, and it's not even whether we succeed or fail. My measure is going to be the effort that these guys give, the discipline they have to give that effort, and the commitment to create the ability, to do those things. And so those are things to think about, because motivation, only comes into play a little bit. And there is no such thing as magic. You can be the most. I have people right now that are struggling that are very talented, very gifted lifters, and have trained in the past very hard. But the quarantine, I think, and the stay at home, and the lack of meets, the meets being canceled, and I agree. It's been tough on me, and to the point that it's inspired me to make a few decisions about what I'm going to do with my competitive career. Now, that's another conversation for another time. But motivation it's tough to rely on, because if you're committed, there's going to be mornings where you would rather stay in bed, or you would rather not do something because things are you got a tweak or two, and you're sore, and you're tired, and work is a problem, or you don't have a job to go to. There's a lot of different variables right now that 3 months ago a lot of us probably weren't even considering or thinking were even a remote possibility, and here they are staring at us. So that's what I wanted to share with you. I know this is a little long-winded, but again, I hope this sparks some thought. I hope it sparks some debate and conversation, and that maybe you can take something away from it that will help you, that will, one or two of those workouts that you're not really motivated for, that maybe it just gives you enough of a nudge that you get through them. Sometimes it's not that you get done what was programmed for the day, but you fight through it and you take what that session gives you, because the only bad session is the one you miss, the one you didn't do. And so if you're in there and you're working and you're doing something, we this morning, I'm hoping Jennifer will really take the opportunity to share with you some of the things that we did this morning, where she did a few things, we backed up and we worked on a couple of form things, made some adjustments, and did some A-B comparison. now is a great opportunity and a great time to do those things. And so you got to find a way, to do those, to get those things in. And when you have, like for me, not going to meets, not being as busy in the gym, not being as busy as at work, it gave me an opportunity to do some other work. It gave me an opportunity to work on that addition and get it ready. And we're right there at the finish line. So it's all going to be about finding things to keep yourself busy, finding things to keep your commitment level high, and that will help your motivation, and that will create a positive flow for you. So hope this helps, and it helps me talk. It's very cathartic for me to be able to coach and talk about it. I had a really good morning coaching, talking to different lifters about different things and things to think about with their training, with their programming, with their coaching. And those are the things that keep me going. So I have to find opportunities to do more of that. Again, that keeps me committed, and it helps me stay motivated. So again, hope this helps. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for listening.